Hi everyone, one of the editors here at the Sporting Ferret. Just going to be talking you through the process of writing and editing your first article. Some of you may be experienced in using WordPress, which is what we use. Some of you might not have any experience, so we just thought it'd be a good idea to streamline this process for everyone. And it just makes it easier for you all, and hopefully it will answer all your questions. So yeah, basically you'll be given a username when you sign up with us. Your username will usually be your email address, and the same goes for your password. When you log in, you can change your password just so it's unique to yours and stops anyone else logging in using that. So yeah, we'll give you, when you sign up, we'll give you the URL for the back end of WordPress, and from there we'll just log in and start our article from scratch. Over the next few videos, we'll just go through the process. So if you can guide yourself with these videos as you go along, using your own articles, and hopefully that makes it a bit easier for you all. So yeah, we'll crack on with that and go from there. Okay, so we're just going to log in to the back end, and the first thing you'll see is the dashboard. It just shows you the basics of what's been published today, what's going on, but you're not going to be using this too much, so don't worry about that. You can click on your profile. This is where you can amend your password and so on. Add a bio about yourself if you're interested in doing so. The bio will be at the bottom of all your articles produced, so you could just write a bit of information about yourself, where you can be contacted, etc. You can add any social handles if you like, a website, just anything along those lines really. And so just to write a new article, basically go to all posts, and from here you can see all the other articles that are being written. You can see here, just if it says published, then it means the article's live. It shows you how many views it's had. Some will say pending, which means it's been submitted for the editors to look at. And you can also see last time it was modified. Yeah, just so you can just have a look at what people are writing about. And for us to write a new article, we're just going to go to add new. That's going to take us to the article page. So in the next video, we're just going to start crafting our article. Okay, so now you're on the article page. You'll just see a blank canvas, and this is where all the content will be made. As you can see here, this is where the title of the article will go, and this is where the main body of the article will go. And you can save as a draft here, so you can do some work on it, come back to it later, and that will all be saved for you. Also, if you can preview here, so it'll just show you how the article will look when it goes live. So you can use that as a good guide to see if amendments need to be made on the article itself. And then when you're happy with the article, just click on submit for review here, and that's going to go to the editors, who will then make any necessary changes. And so if we go down to here, we're going to see the Yoast SEO, which is pretty important to learn about. Basically, Yoast is a WordPress plugin which helps with the SEO optimization for our website, and it's a good thing to learn about if you're looking to get into the industry. If you're interested in writing blogs, interested about ranking on Google and search engines, it's something that's good to learn as you go along when writing content. Basically, Yoast it goes on a traffic light system. If you click on SEO analysis here, you'll see some red and orange, no green yet. Basically, we want to get as many of these traffic lights as green as possible. This ensures that we rank as high as possible on search engines, and as a result, if there are more greens, it's generally going to be better content and it's more likely to be viewed. So what we want to do is get as little as red, as many as green. So we've got some recommended resources that we recommend for you. There'll be inside the Microsoft Teams folder, if you click on files, there'll be a resources page, and I'll just give you some of our recommended websites, articles and videos, just in terms of getting the hang of SEO, learning the basics for WordPress navigation, and so on. So we'll just show you some of these quickly. Yoast itself has a good blog and lots of insightful articles on SEO. Another good thing that Yoast does is if you're struggling to learn or understand something, there'll be these question marks here which you can click on, and it'll take you to an article directly related to the issue in question. So if you see focus key phrase here, if you're not sure what this is or struggling to understand it, click on the question mark. It'll take you to the focus key phrase article, and then you can see it runs through what the focus key phrase and keywords are. So there you go. The focus keyword or key phrase is the search term that you want a page or post to rank for the most. So for instance, if you're writing an article about who the best penalty takers in the world are, generally we write something along the lines of best penalty takers of all time. And so there you get the idea of that. And another one we recommend is backlinko.com. It's a really good. This is really insightful and it's really in depth. As you can see, it goes on forever, but it's really easy to understand and really user friendly. So that's another one we recommend. And again, the owner of Backlinko, he has his own YouTube channel, and again, it's really good, really user friendly. So here you go, Brian Dean. Loads of good articles here for learning the basics of SEO. And then again, one more, Niche Hacks. Again, another really good article that's really user friendly. They'll just talk you through the basics. So yeah, that's basically the resources we have. We most recommend those ones, but as we said, there'll be a resources page in the Microsoft Teams folder, so please do check that out. And from here, we're just gonna start our article from scratch, so please work alongside it as you do your first one. So the first thing we're going to do is come up with an article title and figure out our focus key phrase. This is one of the most important things in terms of getting your article found in a search engine. The title and the focus key phrase obviously has to be in direct relation to the article itself, and you need to be quite clever with how you come up with the title if you really want it to rank on the top page of Google. For this article, we're going to do it on the best penalty takers of all time. So basically the article is going to be 10 of the best. We're going to run through 10 of the best penalty takers of all time. All the content's going to be in here. And the first thing we need to do really is think of the title that works best for this and what's most likely to be searched in a search engine and be found. So we've got some examples here. For example, if we think of the same for free kicks, what are you most likely to Google? So as you can see here, the best free kick takers of all time. And then you can just see some of the examples of what people are writing. So Sports Bible, the top 10 highest scoring free kick takers of all time. Bleacher Report, ranking the 16 greatest free kick takers of all time. Sports Zion, top 10 free kick takers in history. Pundit Feed, 90minute.com, Ronaldo.com, Squawker.com, and there's sportingferret.com. So we went for the greatest free kick takers of all time. So similar enough, but as you can see with all of them, they're pretty similar to what we've Googled, and that's going to be due to the title of the article and the focus key phrase. So there you go. Greatest free kick takers of all time. And then another one we thought of, sometimes you can ask a question, so it's often common in a search engine. So who has scored the most goals in a Premier League season? If we Google that, PremierLeague.com is coming up top. Wikipedia, the Premier League again, Football Faithful, the players with the most goals in a single Premier League season, and then Sporting Ferret underneath, players with the most goals in the Premier League season. Bleacher Report underneath us, the top 20 all-time English Premier League goal scorers. So as you can see, they're all pretty similar, and that's all to do with the article title, focus key phrase. And there you go. Time to do the same for our article. So it's best to think about, what are people going to Google in order to find this? Obviously, the article's based on who are the best penalty takers of all time, so it's going to be something along those lines. So as you can see, if we Google best penalty takers ever, you can see some of the types of titles that are coming up. Bleacher Report, 20 best penalty takers in world football history. Chase Your Sport, best penalty takers of all time. Sports Zion, the 10 best penalty takers of world football history. If we go again, the best penalty taker of all time, the same things are coming up. So you can see the trend. Best penalty taker in the world, slightly different. But again, you can see the same articles coming up. So their focus key phrase and article title are obviously, they're landing, and as a result, coming up on the top page of Google. So in terms of a listed article along these lines, it's obviously best just to be as straightforward as it can be. We don't want anything too cryptic or abstract. For a listed article, we recommend just to put something simple and easy for the reader, and it does what it says in the tin almost. So the next thing we'll do is come up with an article title and then go on to the focus key phrase. We've looked at the search engine results. We're just going to go for something easy and simple, something that's going to rank on the top page. So we're just going to go the best penalty takers of all time, and then below we could obviously, for our H1, which is something we'll get onto later, we could put a different title, something more specific, more abstract, or more tongue-in-cheek. But for the article title itself, it needs to be indirect relation, and as a result will be most likely to rank. And the next thing we'll do is the same for the focus key phrase. So the same thing has to apply here. What do we want the page to rank for? And for the focus key phrase, we recommend that it's shorter than the article title, unless your article title is short anyway. The sweet spot for a focus key phrase is usually 3 to 5 words. Can be 6, but yeah, 3 to 5 is the recommended amount. And so if we go here, something short, best penalty takers of all time. So you can see six words there. Yeah, so that's going to do the trick, and that's going to help us when the article's finished to rank amongst all these other articles. And so now we have our article title and our focus key phrase. We're just going to move on to shaping our introduction and then go from there. As you can see, I've put together an introduction for the article. It's always good just to set the tone for the article ahead, writing about what you're going to cover, maybe some facts and figures. And as you can see here, word count 220. You don't want it too short, and also you don't want it too long, so we recommend 100 to 250 words for an introduction is good. And if you look at some other examples on the same topic, you can see it's a similar length for each one. This one's a bit shorter, and another one here. So as you can see, 100 to 250 words is usually a good amount. And also in regards to the article itself, the absolute minimum for the article is 300 words, and generally when ranking on Google or search engines, longer content tends to perform better as opposed to shorter articles. This isn't always the case, but generally we find that just longer articles tend to be picked up by search engines more, and as a result tend to rank on the top page. So for a listed article, the sweet spot is probably going to be anywhere from 1,500 words to 2,500 words. That's generally what is regarded as a sweet spot for crafting an article. And as you can see here, if you click preview, it's just one big blob of text, and we recommend not to do this. It doesn't look clean and it's not easy to read. So we're just going to break up this text and make it much more readable. To break this text up a bit, make it more readable, and make it look more clean, we're just going to look for breaks in the sentences. And so I'm just going to do that quickly. Now, if we take a look at that, as opposed to before, it's a lot more easier to read. Breaks up the text nicely, and it's just a summary of the article ahead. And the same for listed articles, you'll often see that we follow the same suit. Just a brief introduction, and then just at the bottom here, again we reiterate what the article is going to be about. And so from here, now we've made the introduction, we're just going to go on to talking about H1s, H2s and H3s. Now we have the introduction in place. We're just going to talk about the different headings. If you click at the top of the toolbox, there's various things that can be used. We can talk about these later on. But for now, as you can see, heading 1 to heading 6, generally in an article, you'll only use headings 1, 2 and 3. You rarely go beyond that. But the heading 1 just comes at the top of the main body of the article, and it's going to be separate to the actual article title itself. So it can be something more tongue-in-cheek, or it can also be in relation to the article but worded slightly differently using synonyms. So in this case, we're just going to write something simple. Who are the best penalty takers of all time? Question mark. And then if we preview, you can see that's going to be the article title that comes up on Google, and then this is just the H1 for the main body of the essay. There'll be a picture here to separate the text, and then as you can see, if we go down, I've selected the players, and these are all going to be H3s. You can put these as a H2 if you want, but I'll just show you for the difference in size. So as you can see, the H2 here, for me it's a bit too big, and we want consistency throughout. So as you can see here, these are all H3s, they're all the same size. So we're just going to skip a H2 for this article and keep them all as H3s just for consistency. So there you go. Depending on what article you do, you could have a few H2s, a few H3s. It just basically changes the size. For this article in particular, there's going to be 10 H3s and 1 H1. So for the H1, always just one at the top. And another recommended thing to do is use synonyms for your H2s and H3s. This is one of the SEO ratings for the traffic light score. And yeah, so now that's done, we're going to move on and talk about the categories and the tags. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the categories. Basically, every time I write a new article, you'll be categorized. And if you leave it as this, if you look at our homepage, it will basically drop all the way down to the bottom into more news if it's uncategorized. And you want it to appear in the top so it gets its fair share of viewing time. So to do this, we'll unclick uncategorized, and news will always have to be selected, and this will ensure that it comes up into the news tab, which is at the top of the home page. And as you can see here, news, for instance, this one says football, but it will always say news. So as you can see, these still say football, motorsport. The primary selected there will be football or motorsport, but the secondary will be news, whereas for this one it's the other way around. So it doesn't matter too much which one is the primary. The only thing that's going to make a difference is what comes up here. So the primary here is news, the primary here is football. So for this article, obviously it's football. We can make this a primary, and then when it goes live, it's going to say football. Whereas if you wanted it to be news, you make that primary. Well, if it's a few different sports, you could select all sports or a few categories. So it's just dependent on your article. And the next thing to talk about is just the tags. The tags are just something that need to be input, almost sort of similar to a hashtag on Instagram or Twitter. And it's just tags to talk about what's going to be included in the article. So things such as Premier League, football. Also, we can include the players. So make sure to put a comma after each one, and then once you add these, you'll see the tags attached. So you can do as many or as little as you like here, but generally we see the more the better. And I'll just input all of these tags to save you watching that. And then after that's been done, we'll go on to the next part of writing the article. So as you can see, the contents of the article has been written. And firstly, if we look at the word count, 2225, so within the 1500 to 2500 range, which is generally the sweet spot. And the next thing we're going to do is talk about internal and outbound links. So if you just look at the traffic light system, outbound links has been done, which I'll shortly show you, and then internal links have yet to be done. So we'll run through those things next. It's just important to do this to get a better chance of ranking higher on Google, and it's just one of the requirements for the SEO. So internal links are links coming from our own website. So any articles that may be relevant from our own website itself, we can link into the article. And another easy way that we do this otherwise is if we just click on an article here and go to the bottom, we'll see here our internal links. And we always run the same format, always put them right at the bottom. This is in bold, colon, and then bullet point 3 or 4 related topics. And then if you just click on these, it's going to take you to the website itself. So obviously in relation to this article, it's about football. So we're going to, at the bottom of the page itself, we're going to grab internal links that are related to football itself. So if we just copy and paste this, and there you can see it comes up easy. And then to add an internal link itself, so we'll add a bullet point and then copy the title of this article, Thiago Alcantara on Liverpool. FC radar. Then we just highlight the whole text. This is the button we need to click to embed links. So click on that link, copy the URL, and then paste it into there. And there you go. And then when we go to preview the article, if we go to the very bottom, if we click on that, it's going to take us to the article itself. And then the next thing to talk about is the outbound links. And these are just links that are taken from other websites. Anything to back up facts or figures that we're using, or just any way you deem relevant. So as you can see here, things that are highlighted in purple, underlined, these are all outbound links to other websites. And when you go to preview it, if you click this link, it's going to take you to Transfer Market, which is going to back up the fact in question. So I've just done this throughout the whole article, and usually we recommend at least 5 backlinks, and obviously depending on how long the article is, it may require more. As you can see on here, there's quite a few, and yeah, so just put these in where you think are necessary or relevant, and link them to reliable websites. Don't use Wikipedia or direct competitors, but things like Transfer Market, BBC Sport, any reputable sports website that can back up these figures, feel free to use those. So it's good to get these internal and outbound links into the article, and it'll just help us rank higher and perform better in general. And so now this is done, we can move on to the next thing, which will be sourcing images using Twitter links and YouTube videos, etc. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about are sourcing images, inputting Twitter links and YouTube videos into the article. And in terms of sourcing images, it's really important thing to bear in mind, especially if you're running your own blogs or looking to start a blog in the future. Copyright is a big issue, and you need to always bear in mind that you can't just pluck any image from Google Images. For instance, if I type in Cristiano Ronaldo and go to images, a lot of these will be copyright, and don't assume that you can take these, because you might find out the hard way through a fine or a warning from the person who owns the image. You need permission to use these images, so you need to be careful with this. One tip you can use is, if you click on Tools and Usage Rights, click on Labeled for Reuse, and less images may come up, but these you can guarantee you'll legally be able to use. So always think about this, and you don't want a big fine from just plucking any image out of Google. Obviously you can use stock image websites. This will cost you money, but as a result you can guarantee that the image has been approved by the person taking the photograph, and you don't have to worry about any hidden costs or fines as a result. If we take a look at the article now, as you can see, there's no images or media that has been input yet, and it just looks a bit dull. So we like to put in some pictures or videos, just brightens up the article a bit, breaks up the text, and makes the article generally more enjoyable for the reader. And dependent on the article itself, will depend on how many images we recommend. For this listed article, I'm going to go for 5 or 6. I'm going to put one for between every other person. So one for Gerrard, skip Frank, then one for Van Basten, skip Balotelli, one for Totti, and along those lines. So it's kind of consistent in the listed article. And we find if you put too many in, and it can look a bit messy. And for this, yeah, I'm going to recommend 5 or 6 for this listed article of 10 football players. And so if we look at the top, I just found a Twitter link here, and all you have to do to add a Twitter link is click copy link to tweet, and then we're just going to put this in the relevant place in this instance under Matt Letitia right at the bottom, and just paste it in, and then there you see. And for listed articles, I always put the media picture or video underneath the text. It just makes it consistent and it makes it look cleaner. So always underneath the text here. And if we preview that now, it's going to come up at the bottom. And then again, we can do the same for a YouTube video. So we could just remove this, and it's a relevant video I found, and it's again just paste that in, and it's just going to come straight up. And then when you go to preview, it's just going to, as you can see there, under the content. So now we're just going to talk about images itself inside the article. Each article will have an image title, and this will come up at the top of the page here, and will also be the title you see when you go to click on the article itself. And the editors will add this due to copyright, so don't worry about doing that yourself. Also, the same goes for in the article itself. Feel free to add Twitter links and YouTube videos, but again, if you'd like a photo in the article, the editor will do that for you. So you could just imprint some brackets and, for instance, put insert photo of, and for, in this instance, Steven Gerrard taking a penalty. And when you submit for a review, the editors will see this, and they can input the image for you then. In the future, we'll be using a stock image website, and it'll be a lot easier for people to pick images that they please. But for now, we leave this to the editors to do. And if you want a particular image, just insert the brackets and say what you like there. But otherwise, feel free to add videos or Twitter links as you please. So I'll just add the remaining Twitter links and YouTube videos required, and then once that's done, I'll move on next and talk about the meta description and the snippet. So the next thing we need to do is just amend the snippet and meta description, and these are quite important things in relation to being clicked on in the search engine, and they're also part of the SEO optimization. And so if we just click on edit snippet here, this is the snippet itself, the best penalty takers of all times, and then just the Sporting Ferret website name, and you can add stuff here or take stuff away. And as you can see, if it's orange, the SEO title length is too short, and vice versa, it could be too long. And Yoast recommends a certain length for the snippet title. So as you can see, it's green here, so that's good enough to go. And the meta description is just the description underneath the title, which is what people will read in a search engine such as Google. So if we just look at an example, as you know, that's the title of the article, so the snippet, and this is the meta description. And then you can see here keywords that are linked to the title, and that's something that search engines like. So usually we just take the focus key phrase and insert that into the first part of the meta description. We can make this into a question. And then again, it needs to be the appropriate length. So you can write something here that sums up the article. And if you're having trouble doing that, you can just take the first sentence of the article and paste that in. So now, as you can see, it's within the parameters, it's green, and that's what someone who searches for this on Google, this is what will come up. So that will be the snippet title, and this will be the meta description. And now both of these are done, and we can move on to just changing the last few traffic lights to green. As you can see, we're on 10, we're doing well, just a few more to go, and we'll be close to finishing our article and then submitting for review. So the next thing we're going to do is just amend the key phrase in the introduction, which is quite simple. It basically just means that our key phrase, or synonyms of our key phrase, appear in our first paragraph, and that generally means the first sentence if it's broken up into paragraphs. If you kept it as one big block of content, then it would work, but in our case we like to space it out to make it look clean. And so by doing this, in the first sentence we just need to add our key phrase or something that's in direct relation to our key phrase. And if you're struggling to do this, you could just take the article title or the focus key phrase itself, and we normally do this quite a lot. We put it above the first sentence, put it in italics, and just paste it in. And then, as you can see, that's changed the SEO to green. And if we preview that, you can just see it just comes up at the top of the introduction. And you could always, if you didn't want a H1, you could get rid of this and just have that as the title. It's up to you, but it's generally better to put it in the first sentence and to make it make sense. However, sometimes this can be difficult for the writers, so if worst comes to worst, just follow this tactic and it will ensure that the traffic light changes to green. And so now, as you can see, only 3 left. So we'll move on to the last few red lights and get this finished. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the key phrase density. And this is just basically ensuring that our key phrase is featured within our article on the set number of times recommended. And for this, an article this length, they recommend 7 times. And if it was a short article, it would be 2 or 3 times. So I need to get this up to 7 by just inputting my focus key phrase throughout the article. And as you can see, it's at the top already, so that's 1. And as well as putting 1 at the top, we always put 1 at the bottom of the article. And just as an example, we'll show you here, we always follow the same suit. Usually we put some media and then we leave a space and then we put just an outro, and it usually goes along the lines of, we hope you enjoyed the article. We input commas and insert the focus key phrase here, and then just end it on a question, and then underneath another space and then some outbound links. So we'll follow the same suit here and just say, we hope you enjoyed the article, and then we just input the focus key phrase. We can put the before to make it make more sense. Remove this as bold. The best penalty takers. We hope you enjoyed the article. The best penalty takers of all time. And then just end on a question. Who do you think is the best penalty taker of all time? Let us know. And we always put this in italics. And then, as you can see, it follows the same format. So media, a space, the outro, another space, and then the outbound links. And then we'll just have a look at that in the preview. And there you can see, looks good. And then if we have a look now, you can see it's gone up to 4, and it's now gone up to 8, which means we must have surpassed the length has gone over again, so we need to make sure there's 8 of our focus key phrases within the article. So I'll just make sure that I put 8 of these focus key phrases within the article to change that, and then once that's done, we can move on to the last couple of red lights. Okay, so now I've inputted the focus key phrase 8 times within the article. You can see here, the key phrase density has gone green, so that's great. We have 2 more just to amend, and the first one is in regards to images. It says no images appear on this page. It doesn't factor in that we've included videos or media, and we'll always include an article title, which will get rid of this red light. And like I said before, the editor will do this, so we don't need to worry about this red light, as this will be amended once it gets passed on to the editor. And the second one, key phrase and subheadings. This is usually when regarding articles, it likes you to put synonyms in the H2s and the H3s, and this will work for shorter articles maybe, but for this listed article, as you can see, our H3s are all football players, and so this is going to make us difficult to put synonyms in, and so we can leave this one. If it was a different article, we'd recommend to put synonyms into the H2s and H3s, and this will get rid of this red light. So now we've covered all the red lights. You as a writer, you would preview your article and just make sure you're happy with everything before submitting for review. So we just go through the article, we check the format is looking good and looking clean. Maybe read through it one last time to check for any mistakes. And once it's passed on to the editor, they will obviously check it once again, proofread it for you. But it's good practice to just read through it one last time before submitting the article. So once you've looked through the article and you're happy with it, we're just going to click submit for review. And then that's going to go to the editor, who will then review, check everything's good and ready to go. And if that's the case, they'll publish it and it will go live. So I'm going to get this published, and then we're just going to conclude this video. Okay, so now the article is live. I published it, there you go, 27 minutes ago. So if we just look on the home page, there you can see it, the best penalty takers of all time. That's the article title I've added. And then that's the article itself. Now it's been published, and if we just Google that, best penalty takers, that was along the lines of our focus key phrase. We come up here, top stories, Sport and Ferret, best penalty takers of all time. And hopefully after this story is gone, we'll rank on the top page of Google and sit there. Also, if you click on Google News, we'll be top there, which is good. So we normally stick near the top for Google News as well. So basically, by doing all of these things, in terms of SEO, that's going to get us on the top page. And if you want your article viewed, you need to follow the same steps. And yeah, just by doing these things, it's going to give you a better chance. And you can translate this over into your own blogs and your own websites in the future, and also in your articles for the Sporting Ferret. So just bear these things in mind and learn as you go along, and you're just going to improve as time progresses. Don't expect to be perfect straight away, and yeah, it's one of those things where you just learn as you go and take it one step at a time. But that's the end of the video, and hopefully everything's clear enough for you guys. If there's anything you missed out, just let us know. If there's any confusion, just let me know and I can add that into the video at a future date. So yeah, hopefully you can go along with your article and guide yourself through this video. So hopefully it's helped you guys, and hopefully your articles are all looking great from now onwards.